I'm going to warn you. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to bring it up. And you could probably make an educated guess here on whether or not you're ready to watch this. Hell, I don't know if I'm ready to watch this. This is the collab between Ren and Chris Webby, which we've already done down the road, and it was friggin' phenomenal. Friggin' phenomenal. Whole thing was animated, unbelievable, and we went deep on it. This one is called Caskets. This one has been massively requested. And knowing that it's Ren, let alone, and it's called Caskets, bro, I don't know. This is going to be heavy. It's also Chris Webby, and they've proven together that they are quite the force multiplier. So be ready for your feelings. Grab your tissues. Get your water. Grab somebody's hand. We're going to sit in the snow together. All right, buckle up. Here we go.
If I don't wake tomorrow morning, empty shoes on the side of the hall, and if my number stops calling, picture frames hanging up by the door, you try to reach right in and hold on to the little things, but they slip away. But it's okay, 'cause I had a hell of a time. Know that I had the time of my life. So remember me and smile. All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road. So it goes until the casket's closed. And if you get that sinking feeling, thinking about the time we shared, I hope it helps you with your healing. Knowing that I wasn't scared, I savored everything. I pressed the world up against my skin. I was lucky, I guess. I always found the beauty in the mess. You gotta hold on to the little things, but you gotta let go just a little bit. When another one goes, one will find their wings, then they'll find their way home, little take and give. Into the unknown and the changing tides, the sun sets low on an endless sky. So much we don't know, I don't know why, but I'll be fine, 'cause I had a hell of a time. Know that I had the time of my life. So remember me and smile. All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road. So it goes until the casket's closed. Raise a toast as the curtains close and the sunset fades to black. So the story goes, we all walk with ghosts, no one-way tickets back. The casualties of our memories that slip right through the cracks. All the inside jokes and the times we spoke will stay frozen in the past. You gotta hold on to the little things, but you gotta let go just a little bit. I guess we'll never know what tomorrow brings, but just know you're not alone in the thick of it. I know it feels cold when the casket's closed. Stories untold on a headstone. For those who grow old, it'll fly by in the blink of an eye. So we'll have a hell of a time. Know that we'll have the time of our lives. So remember us and smile. All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road. So it goes until the casket's closed. We'll have a hell of a time. Know that we'll have the time of our lives. So remember us and smile. All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road. So it goes until the casket's closed.
Wow. Okay, wait. Don't do anything. Wait. Go grab something. Quick. Okay. This is all I got. I'm sorry. This is a tradition in many lands and languages and cultures. It's even in the video, so you can't call me a liar. Grab your water, grab your cocoa, grab your coffee, grab whatever you got near you, whatever you do. Actually, it doesn't matter. Hold up an invisible glass. Cheers to the casualties of our memories. Let's discuss. Wow. These guys are geniuses. They're friggin' geniuses. This video was spectacular as it was. This was the cherry on top that almost broke me. Ugh. Friggin' brilliant.
Know that we'll have the time of our lives. So remember us and smile. All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road. So it goes until the caskets close.
Wow. There's so many brilliant levels to this video. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. As far as let's get technical for a moment, okay? We're gonna get technical, and then we'll go back to some of the finer details of the emotional storytelling. Already in the first shot. Already. We've got the two chairs. The empty chair. Already. Now, we're not going to go through the whole thing. I just want to point some stuff out, okay?
If I don't...
This picture is brilliant in and of itself because you know from the picture that this is him in the past because of the car, because of that house in the background, because of the way they're dressed. It's perfect. It's just perfect. The fact that they move through and they make the picture come to life, oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh, so good.
Had a hell of a time.
Now, I want you to remind me when we get through the technical aspect of this and why I say it's brilliant and how it's done and executed. I want you to remind me to come back to this line right here. We're at 31 seconds, okay? We start to go through all of the memories that tend to bookmark a lot of people's lives. Not everybody's life, but a lot of people's lives. So we go through the life and the love. Here he's proposing.
Know that I had the time of my life.
And then as we kind of move through, there's the first home there. And then we start to kind of travel through the generations. And it's extremely clever how they do this because you understand that we're traveling through time, but you might not be able to articulate why you know that's the case. Now, when you stop and think about it, yes, you could probably figure it out, but we're going to point it out and make it obvious. As we travel through time, like the headband on her head, her straight hair, the background, the lighting, you start to understand that we're kind of moving through time, through the generations. So then we get the information that she's pregnant.
Wasn't scared, I savored everything. I pressed the world up against my skin. I was lucky, I guess. I always found the beauty in the mess. You gotta hold on to the little things, but you gotta.
Now, even that door, that paneling on the wall, I mean, these are classic. Even if you didn't live through this time, you can understand kind of right about when we are time-wise. Child starts to grow up. Now we get more children. We start to have, like, look, we've got the what is that called? It's not an Etch-a-Sketch. What is that called? Viewmaster. So we got the tiny little Etch-a-Sketch down here on the bottom. We've got the Viewmaster here, which, if you didn't know, it was like the first VR. It wasn't really, though. You would put your eyes up to it, and then you would put in like this white disc that had like film strip things, right? And you would like put it in, and then you would shunk, and it would put up this little picture. You're like, whoa, it's like I'm really there. Shunk, and it would be another picture. And this disc would be like Germany. And you put it in, and then you just get to travel to Germany. It was wild. We got the Rock'em Sock'em robots. I mean, there's so many great details. Yeah, look at those curtains. Hell, look at this heater. Look at the heater on the wall. God, I forgot that was even a thing. Look, right there. Oh, man. We got Battleship back there. All details that, and this is the chief's kiss here. This is what we call subtext. These are the details that are not explicitly explained to you like a dummy. The scene is built, the set is built, and you just feel what you're intended to feel through the lava lamp, the Rock'em Sock'em robots, the carpet, ugly ass carpet. Yeah. So we start traveling through time. And then I think what's interesting here is we got the kids, we've got the wife there, the mom there.
I had a hell of a time.
There's a little flash here. And it's like one of those snapshots that we take mentally. If you've ever watched the show The Office, there's a scene where Jim and Pam, spoiler alert, are getting married. And before the wedding, one of them says, ching, just like that, to the other one. So what are you doing? Well, my grandma told me that I should take mental pictures today. So I'm taking mental pictures. This almost looks like a mental picture. It's either that, and he's kind of like grateful for the moment, or there's a little hint of, man, I'm kind of stressed out right now, but everything's fine. It's okay. It's not that bad. I can't really decide which it is. I'm leaning towards the little bit of stress with it's okay because of the next scene.
Know that I had the time of my life.
This right here. This is the escalation of that last part, because now there's no flash. This is stress. This is anxiety. This is trouble. We can't afford to pay the bills. And anybody that is in a long-term relationship will tell you, if anything causes that fight and strain on your relationship, money. Money is wicked high on that list, because you just can't sometimes. And you're trying to do everything you can. You're trying to make a life for each other, for the family, for yourself. And sometimes you just can't. Yeah. And it's a monster. It's wicked hard to tame.
So remember me and smile. All of the souls.
Now, this is great, too. We're continuing to kind of travel through the years, and we get this wonderful shot of the Super Nintendo. So now you kind of get a real obvious clue on where we are. And if that's not enough, we got Teddy, MF, and Ruxpin over here on the side. One of the creepiest but most lovable toys of the late 80s, early 90s. Teddy Ruxpin, you stick a cassette in his butt and then press the button, and he would talk to you, and he'd slow blink those eyes while his mouth kind of talked to you. And then, like, in the middle of the night, he would just have enough battery to just be like, you're and you're like, Satan, is that you? And these eyes are like, shh. Ah! and you run and get some Cool Whip and watch Cujo to kind of bring you back down. So we travel through this, and then we get this wonderfully happy time. So you notice we're kind of undulating between the downs and the ups, because realistically, that's what life is. And even though there is some darkness and some sadness to this video, it's not gratuitous. It's not made to make you emotional. It's for you to understand that there is emotion in life, and that life is hard sometimes. Life is great sometimes. It has its ups, it has its downs. And for every really, really big high that you have, there's an equally level low that you're going to have too. So as we travel through this, we go from the flash of melancholy to the difficulty of paying the bills. But they're in it together. We're doing okay. Like, we're trying to make it work. Then there's the high. It's Christmas. The kids, we're paying the bills. We're giving the kids a good life. We're giving them toys. They're happy. And then all of a sudden it gets boom, and it hits even harder. Because we get news in the next scene.
Caskets close. Raise a toast as the curtains close. And
Even that phone right there, it's telling you something.
the sunset fades to black. So the story goes.
Now, this is a minor detail that nobody's going to comment on because they're going to think that it doesn't really matter. To me, it matters. And if you remember these phones, you will understand the importance and the value of what I'm going to say. He gets the news. When he sets this phone down, he's not hanging up the phone. The person that he's talking to is still there. So when he sets it down, he's literally just setting the phone down, and it slowly starts to pull away. And that shows you that he is so upset that he's not even thinking about like, oh, okay, thanks for the information. And then he hangs up the phone politely. He just sets it down and he starts to fall apart.
Close and the sunset fades to black. So the story goes.
Because nothing else in that moment matters than what he's experiencing right now. That's how much that news is breaking him.
I walk with ghosts, no one-way tickets back. The casualties of our memories that slip right through.
Wow. Gone from our sight, but never from our hearts. Your light still walks beside us every single day. 1945 to 1998.
The cracks, all the inside jokes and the times we spoke will stay frozen in the past. You gotta hold on to the little things, but you gotta let go.
So now we've got a considerable jump. And what's a nice touch here is we go from here. We've used some makeup to make them age a bit. Okay, fine. When we cut to the next scene, we've got a fairly significant jump in time, but watch how they kind of bridge that gap.
The past, you gotta hold on to the.
We're kind of in the same formation with him on the right, her on the left. They're still kind of holding each other and leaning into each other the same way they did in that last scene. So you kind of put the pieces together. Here's where we are.
To the little things, but you gotta let go just a little bit.
And then we get the news from the doctor. We don't know what it is yet, but we're going to find out.
I guess we'll never know what tomorrow brings, but just know you're not alone in the thick of it. I know it feels cold when the caskets close. Stories untold on a headstone for those who grow.
This moment is pretty significant. The last scene was this, where the news comes. Whatever the news is, whether it's a terminal diagnosis or a disease diagnosis, whatever it is, the next scene is them kind of trying to slow down time.
But just know you're not alone in the thick of it. I know it.
Trying to enjoy each other's presence for every single second because the timer has started. That's tough. Now, I know this was the case in the earlier scene, so it's not too drastic, and I'm probably making a stretch here. I will absolutely admit that. But I think the fact that we just see one chair off to the side and it's lit the way that it is, it's probably a coincidence, but I think it's also kind of foreshadowing. Yeah, they're over here and they're dancing, but there's this one kind of lonely, empty chair, and I feel like that's, in its own way, quietly kind of foreshadowing. whether he is the one sitting in that chair by himself or it becomes the empty chair later on. Yeah, and I do think dementia was probably it, because I don't know how I got that, but I did feel like that was it.
Feels cold when the caskets close.
Yeah, and it was probably the feeding her. You're probably right.
Stories untold on a headstone.
And look at this great detail. You can't tell from him because, it looks like a nice sweater, but you see the light catches this necklace, and you can see this ruffle on her shirt, her blouse. It kind of implies that they dressed up for this quiet night with just the two of them.
Oh, when the caskets close, stories untold on a head.
They dressed up for this. That is such a detail.
Stone for those who grow old in a flyby.
Yeah, and there it is right there. The eyes, the face, like this is tough. And I don't honestly I don't know what's worse. Losing somebody quickly, losing them slow, having to be with them through this, or I don't know. I honestly don't know. I remember when I lost my dad, my father-in-law called me and he was like, I'm sorry you had to go through this. And I remember telling him, I kind of wish I wasn't here, because we had to take care of my dad for however long. But the point was, I said, I kind of wish I wasn't here. I always thought I would just get a phone call and then that would be it. And then I could go and I could take care of who needs taken care of. And then that would be it. And I would be kind of saved from that pain. And he said, well, the grass is always going to be green on the other side. It is what it is. He's like, if you hadn't been there, you would have wished that you were there. He's like, enough time is going to pass and you're going to be glad that you were there. And even if you don't, the people that you were with, including your dad, are going to be glad that you were there. It is what it is. I'll never forget that. But I still wonder, I don't know what's worse,
In the blink of an eye.
Yeah, they both suck. Yep.
So we'll have a hell of a time. Know that we'll have the time of our lives. So remember us and smile. All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road.
This hand shot here
And smile.
is such a great shot because it's one of the details that unless you've been in it, you don't think about. When you lose somebody like this and you're with them when they go, there comes a time where you have to literally, physically let go. And that's what this shot is about. It's going to take a long time, if ever, for you to emotionally let them go. But there is a physical point where you have to step away. And this shot representing that, and he's been by her side the whole time.
So remember us and smile.
He kind of says his last piece to her, and then he moves away.
All of the souls heading back home down a one-way road. So it goes until the caskets close. We'll have a hell of a time. Know that we'll have the time of our lives.
And somebody commented on this too. The fact that they show the loss of different types of relationship, that is just more and more, as if you don't need any more evidence that the people putting a video like this together, Rand and Chris Webby and their whole team, are just, it's a masterpiece every time. Because it's not just people that lost their spouse, it's someone who lost a son, a pet, a friend, a veteran, a father, all these different relationships. And let's be honest, does it all feel the same? No, but does it all hurt? Does it crush you in some way? Does it affect your life in some way? Yes. So to acknowledge that with the same level of weight is so respectfully, beautifully done. Oh.
Know that we'll have the time of our lives. So remember us.
And the way that we pay tribute to each other in our own different ways, and that's kind of what they're showing here. Like, we've got the veteran here. We pay tribute to him in one way. We pay tribute to our fallen brother in a different way.
Smile, all of the souls heading back home down.
We pay tribute to a fallen brother in a different way. We all have our ways of coping, of paying tribute. There's not really a wrong way.
One way.
But I think the point is that, well, not the point, but I do think, though, that paying tribute to the ones that we've lost is important. I have my ways of doing it. Some of you would think I'm a complete moron because that's how I do it. But I don't think there's a wrong way.
So it goes until the caskets close.
Just awesome. Just awesome. $31. Thank you, Thelma.
'Cause I had a hell of a time.
Some people, everybody has, literally everybody has different beliefs and all kinds of things. When I talk about the universe or any God that you choose, any deity, or what you think of energy, it doesn't matter what you believe. Everybody believes something in some way, even if it's nothing. I had someone tell me one time, they read this book, and I can't remember what it was called, it doesn't matter, but they referred to coincidences as God winks. It was the universe or the deity of your choice winking at you like, hey, pay attention. Pay attention. Some of us call them coincidences, but either way, how you view it might make it different. I think it's interesting that I'm watching this video right now because 2 days ago, I had this fleeting thought of this video that I posted long time ago. And I don't remember how long, it was years ago, before I ever got involved in YouTube, posted a video on YouTube, just kind of Roscoe by the numbers. I was just like practicing how to make videos, is all I was doing. And I just had a bunch of information in there. It was just little facts about me, like I've got this many video games, I've written this many songs, whatever. In that video, I said, and I wasn't trying to get attention, it was just part of my brain. I said in there, I believe I will die young. I've always kind of thought that. And I threw it in the video, and it had the same weight as, I have 1,000 video games. I've written 200 songs. I think I will die young. I can do this kind of dance move. It is what it is. But for some reason, like 2 days ago, I had this thought of that moment in that video when I said that, and it was like 12 years ago or something. And here I am 12 years later, but I'm still pretty young, so who knows? But the point is, that thought entered my brain, and then I had this little flash forward of the moment where we get the news or whatever it is that I got bad news, and I got to tell the fur, hey, this is what's going on. Let's make the best of it. I remember seeing this all kind of play out, and then we're talking in a couple seconds. Your brain just goes wiry all the time, or just like all of a sudden. I remember thinking to myself, I want her to know I had a great time. We did good. We had fun. And her and I have talked about that, but I had that moment. So to have this video pop up, and then this is the kind of the point of it, was powerful to me, to say the least. So as soon as that word came up, I was kind of like, oh, damn. Whew.
but it's okay, 'cause I had a hell of a time. No.
Damn, man. So good. So good. Yep. What a great video.
Until the caskets close. And if you get that sinking feeling, thinking about the time we shared, I hope it helps you with your healing. Knowing that I wasn't scared, I savored everything.
Listen to this next line.
I pressed
the world up against my skin. Oh, I savored everything.
world up against my skin. I was lucky, I guess. I always found the beauty in the mess.
Wow.
You gotta hold on to the little things, but you gotta let go just a little bit. When another one goes, one will find their wings, then they'll find their way home. Little take and give.
Oh, that's great. Little take and give.
One will find their wings, then they'll find their way home. Little take and give. Into the unknown and the changing tides. The sun sets low on an endless sky. So much we don't know, I don't know why, but I'll be.
I love that there's multiple shots of the record player playing in that room as the generations pass.
On an endless
Because even here, as the kids are young, everybody's young,
sky. So much we don't know, I don't.
we see the record player playing. When we get to the part with them older and dancing, we see the record player playing in the exact same angle.
It's cold when the
Perfect. So perfect. Yeah. I love that. I mean, Ren is a masterful storyteller, and like I said, him and Webby are like force multipliers together. I could not be more impressed. And this is just next level. The details, man. It's all about the details. There's nothing shortcutted about this. There's nothing twisted. It doesn't feel gratuitous. And I love that, even though, like, think about the meta-ness of this. The visual story has its ups and downs, and it has a darkness to it. And it's a darkness not for the sake of, like, a darkness for being dark, but because that's reality sometimes. And these are the things that we have to face, because this is what life is. It just is. Even if we don't like it, even if it's tough, it is reality and we have to face it. Even though that's the case visually, the song is very hopeful. And even when the words are like tough to hear, it still has a hopeful feeling. Now, all of us have our stories. I have my stories. You have your stories. I remember after my dad passed and I came back down here and we were working on getting my mom down here. I remember linking up with Fert and her family, and her older aunt from New York was down. And the first time she saw me since it happened, and she hugged me. She was like, "I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. How you doing? Small talk. And then she said, just keep your head up. She didn't say you have a long journey ahead of you, but she was like, it's just beginning. This is just the beginning." And I remember thinking, well, no, he's gone. Like, it's kind of done. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. She could not have been more right, because she'd been through it before. And we all handle things differently, but she was absolutely right to say that once Pop closed his eyes and he passed on and we began to grieve furiously, that wasn't the end. That was the beginning of the next part. You know what I mean? So it's kind of chapters that are split up, and you go from chapter to chapter. And even though the next couple of chapters for me were really, really difficult, and I kind of lost who I was, it came back. I've always been changed, but I've been able to find my way back. And I had to get really creative with how I did that. Sometimes it was therapy. Sometimes it was a different person at therapy. Sometimes it was a different therapist. Sometimes it was talking to friends. Sometimes it was closing myself in the room and just falling apart and just ugly crying, snot everywhere. We grieve how we grieve. And it was like 6 months later, and I still struggled, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And I found ways to process through it. But the point was, it wasn't like a closed book where I was like, okay, enough time has passed. I should be over it by now. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of a living, breathing thing that you have to kind of ride until it kind of settles down. But you got to hold on. That's kind of the point. Some people have bigger monsters that they have to tame. It is what it is. Yeah. And I remember it was probably maybe a year or two after I lost him, and I had kind of found my way back to myself for the most part. I had a friend lose her dad unexpectedly, and because she was kind of with me at the time I was going through all my stuff, and she's also a therapist, so she kind of was able to just help me kind of process through some things here and there. When her dad passed, you can't therapize yourself. You just can't. And your friends can't really do it. It's tricky how the whole brain and heart thing works, but the point is, she would ask me often things like, hey, this many months has passed. I feel like I should be better by now, and I'm not. Is this what you went through? And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I went through. I always felt like after another month, I should be okay. I shouldn't, after, God, what is it, 9 years now? After 9 years, I shouldn't have these moments where I just kind of freeze and sit in my thoughts and relive things, and I'm just not here. That shouldn't happen after this many years. You know what I mean? But it does. It just does. So it's part of the process, and everybody's process looks different. So when people tell you, I've been where you are, I've been in your shoes, I understand. They do. They're not trying to invalidate you. They're not trying to say and when people say hey, keep your head up, time heals. It does. You might not want to hear that, and maybe it doesn't help you in that moment, but the truth is it does. And millions upon millions of people have experienced all of these different stages and ways of grief and trouble and sadness and fear. It comes with the territory of us being a part of the universe that actually feels. It's quite a gift to have, which also means it incurs quite a price to pay. For every high that we have, there's a low that matches. And you can't have all those highs without the lows to balance them out. And I do believe that one of the things that kept me sane as I reached through my 20s with all the stuff I had going on, that understanding that was part of the process is what made it bearable sometimes. When you feel like life is just beating the hell out of you and it doesn't feel fair, it feels like you're up against something that you don't deserve or maybe you do deserve, whatever it is. It's all nonsense. This is life sometimes. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So that's why we congregate the way that we do. That's why we find places that we belong and spaces where we feel safe. And we commiserate sometimes and we share our stories so that we can kind of make sense out of it, Yeah. Yeah, and I will throw one last piece onto this that I think might help some of you, and I've mentioned it before, but you never know who's here and who's not. I'm a lot closer with my mom than I was my dad, and I know how much losing my dad destroyed me and changed me as a person. So I began to fear losing my mom. And all of a sudden the anxiety got worse, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't breathe all the time and why I was having panic attacks. I'm talking within the last few years while I've been doing this. I went to the therapist, and literally after a few sessions, she was like, let me introduce you to this friend that we call anticipatory grief. Now, again, I know some of you have heard this, but some of you have not, and I'm going to share it with you because I think it's important. Anticipatory grief is where you already begin to grieve losing somebody that you haven't lost yet. You think that it's preparing you and it's going to mitigate some of the pain that you're going to feel when you actually do lose that person. It doesn't work that way. All you're doing is prolonging the grief, and that's it. You're making it worse for longer. That's tough. So once I realized that, and it made sense to me, she was like, you don't have to live in this space. She was like, here's the reality. When you lose your mom, you're going to be devastated. It's going to crush you. But you'll get through it the same way you got through when you lost your dad. It might take a little longer. It might hurt more. But deal with that emotionally when it happens. Don't prolong this and make it worse for you, because you're going to waste emotional time that you have now while she's here. Make it count. Okay? Okay? So, yeah. But I think that's part of the puzzle that should be considered as well. Yep. But man, we will have a hell of a time. I love that. I love videos like this. You know, I'm a big fan of Ren. Chris Webby and him are a great duo, and I'm digging it. I know there's more we haven't watched from them, but I'm so impressed, and I love the fact that however long it's been that we've watched this video and gone through it and talked about it and had these hard discussions, like, this is what I love doing.